Speaking of infrared, do you remember WAP?
Yeah. I was thinking about WAP today.
Just on one of my thoughts.
Yeah. No, someone
Good old WAP.
made a joke about that included WAP earlier, and then I was thinking about all the times that I was on WAP.
Yeah.
It's about 9 times.
Take about 10 minutes to load a web
Cost me
page.
£4,000.
I used to download games over WAP.
Yeah,
You downloaded
you're saying what we're all
games?
thinking, mate.
What?
Porn was a nightmare, wasn't it?
Oh, there was no
I was talking
point.
about games.
I don't even have.
Tantalising there.
I don't
There's
even
always a
have
point.
memories
The
of
suspense.
porn on it. Yeah, but it wasn't.
WAP porn.
My mum.
The phone I had couldn't even display pictures. It was always like pointillist porn.
Remember when I was younger? Good.
I feel like this is going to be the start of the podcast. by the way.
When I was growing-
Is it?
when I
It's Cyber Show?
was on-
Yeah, this is like the
when I was
Nerdist.
growing up
Yeah.
on Amiga 500, we had
Why not?
this like strip poker game that came free with the magazine that I
Nice.
found in like our big stash of
Finding
like
out
floppy
about you
disks.
today, mate.
You
But-
had a stash of floppy disks.
Yeah, we all did back then.
Who didn't?
It was the early 90s, and in the back of that there's this strip poker game, and there was one of the women was like an astronaut, and I didn't know the rules of poker, so I basically get her helmet off. It's like she's gonna die.
Yeah, she's dead.
She's gonna die. I felt really concerned. It's like she has probably a PhD in
Yeah.
at least 2 disciplines.
Exactly, yeah, she's
and
got-
I'm demeaning her in space.
She's got
Of
multiple
all places.
Of
she's
all
got demeaned.
places, the most dangerous place to demean someone.
She's got multiple degrees. She's
know.
being stripped off, and she's going to die as
I know,
a result.
and I'm
Like, that
7
is-
in my pajamas, and I've snuck downstairs.
7?
You
Did
kept
you
your
not have the
pajamas
desire
on.
to learn poker? You thought, I'm going to learn poker and might help her out a little bit?
Oh, poker. Yeah, but I just
not
felt
that complex of a
harsh
game.
because like she's going to die.
The better you are at poker, the quicker
She's
she
going
dies.
to die. Oh, she's taking her helmet off and her head's exploded.
Yeah, that's it. The helmet comes off first.
I heard
You might
that
as
was
well-
Into the airlock.
I heard that was
first.
fake.
Yeah.
I heard your head doesn't actually explode in space. Like if you release the airlock of a thing, it doesn't explode.
What
I
is
think
it?
you
That'd be
just,
great.
Like,
Every
I guess
like
I
drinking
guess
from
it'd
the
be more
wrong
on a
cup. I think
planet.
you just like age.
every hand you win is
about?
actually just part of like a 0G courtship. Like she goes into the ship and you don't have a lit candle because it would explode all the pure oxygen in the air. But it's just like a little light bulb in the middle of a floating table. There's like, I don't know, steaks just hanging around
Steaks
in the
floating
air.
about.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well,
Probably
thank you
start
for
the
listening
podcast
to that
then.
interesting ramble to begin the podcast. I'm Roy Powers, and I'm very, very excited to be hosting the first in years IGN 4-way. I mean, it's been a while.
That
since
makes it sound way more sexual than it needed
right?
to.
That's not the name of the podcast.
The IGN 4-way.
Can it be the name of the podcast?
We're going to rebrand.
So today I'm joined on my left by,
Oh, hello, I'm Joe Scrabbles.
and also joined by
Daniel
these two lovely
Krupa.
gentlemen.
And Dale
Oh, God,
Driver.
this is all going on already.
Why? Jesus, it's already chaos. It's already.
It's thrown
chaos
off because there was
before.
2 to his right.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Yeah, it's like who's it going to be? I'm excited. Like as long as I've been at this company, we haven't done a 4-person podcast, so high expectations.
What happened there was a gap when you tried to introduce me. You spoke over Cooper introducing himself, and you didn't even introduce
Yeah.
Dale.
It went to shit. You looked at me, you left a beat where I said my name, and he talked over me.
This is
I'm gonna leave. You guys do a 3. You guys just do the IGN 3.
You wanna leave, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Get back on track, Roy. Come on.
Back on track. Okay. Well, the
Rally,
first thing
rally.
that we're going to be talking about today is Anna. Now, we've obviously been playing tons of Overwatch, too much, if anything. We're at a really annoying point where a new champion has come out where if you play any of the public games, you are essentially on a team of Annas. It's you and 5 Annas, unless you're playing Anna and then it's 6 Annas.
Really?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
haven't seen that at all.
No.
We literally just played a game at lunch with 5 against 5
Yeah,
Annas.
all right.
4
that
Annas,
one game.
and it worked, and they won.
No, we
So-
won. We won.
No, they won that one. McCree and... Oh, no.
No, we won
We
that
did.
one.
We
We
did
won
all
that
right.
one.
But they won for ages.
Yeah.
Oh, we were getting
I just
crushed.
remember that they were
But that's the only time we've seen it,
Yeah.
isn't it, really? Like
I've
every other
seen
time
it-
it's usually
I've seen it a
one
couple
max
times.
2.
Not ranked, obviously, because you
Yeah.
can't character stack.
I feel like we're getting bogged down in
In the nitty-gritty of Anna's.
nitty-gritty of Anna and how many.
first
She's
of-
been quite popular this weekend, but I reckon
Yeah.
that's going to die out when people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
because she's terrible.
People
Yeah.
just want to have a little try.
Once you have once you
I know,
play,
I know, I'm poking the bears. That's my job as podcast host, to poke
I'm
the
with you,
bears.
Roy. I'm with you.
Thank
I'm
you,
already
thank you,
furious about
Dale.
this. She's not terrible. I came in, I hadn't played all weekend. I came in and everyone's like, Anna's rubbish. I played with her. We won 3 matches, and the match where there were loads of Annas against us, they did really well. So she's good. Like, obviously very
People who
good.
just don't know how to play her yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
I know
people who
that's a large
or
part
people
of it as
who
well.
don't play snipers generally, don't play support generally, are like, oh, brand new character, I'm going to give it a go. I've seen people using her health grenade as like a personal health grenade.
Yeah, same.
It's not
I've
how to
only
use that.
seen people use it as a personal health grenade.
Rather than as kind of an offensive strategy of blocking the other team.
2 roadhogs from healing today, and then we battered them into the floor, and it was beautiful because Anna's great.
Yeah, no, I was quite harsh when I said that she's trash. Everyone I've seen play her so far is trash. If I go on to like a YouTube highlight video with some dude who's got like 2 million subscribers, I'm sure he's going to be slaying as Anna. He's probably going to be wrecking people. But from what I've seen, the difficulty level of that character is pretty steep.
Well, it's interesting because when I was playing with it, it seems, I can't tell, and I haven't played the PC version, but it seems like there's a very forgiving auto aim on her shots. Like whenever I was shooting towards you guys, I always seem to be making the hits, and I'm not a good sniper at all. Also, you really don't have to use her like scope. Unless you're massively far away, it's quite easy to just
shoot from the hip.
no scope.
Well, I'm fairly sure there's a degree of auto aim in place
on console. Yeah, well, that's interesting. They haven't talked about
characters.
it, but I can definitely see that happening. And as it works, like I was making most of the shots I wanted to, and it was just I was having really good time, like running around buffing people, stopping other people from doing stuff.
Do you use her trank gun much?
I used it a bit. I've only because it's quite similar to Roadhog's hook in the way. In that very slight delay between it going off from you pressing the button, but it's just long enough that you kind of have to lead targets quite a lot. So I was only really hitting big people like Roadhog and Reinhardt, which is quite useful in and of itself. Yeah. But like the idea of hitting Tracer with it at the moment is so far away because she kind of raises it and then shoots. So you've got this weird little
And while they're tranked, can you take like damage them?
They wake up. They wake up as soon as they get hit.
Oh, okay.
So just stops them whatever they're doing.
So you can do one free shot essentially, but they stay asleep for ages. I didn't realise, but I got put to sleep and their team just ignored me, and I was there for I think it's about 8 seconds.
I had that as well. Yeah,
you're just lying on the floor as everything's going on. It's terrifying. It's really good.
My problem with her is she seems like a clash of ranges, because I either want to be in a sniper position or I want to be in full force, like the front line attack. And her L1 and R1s, what is it, the health grenade and the trank gun? They seem like they're quite close range things, whereas her main weapon is sniping range.
I think the grenade goes a lot further than it seems. I do think trank gun's definitely a close-up thing. Seems tough.
I do find it a really weird choice for if you're like a game this big and this popular, and the first character you're going to introduce to it is like a support sniper. Like that's such a unique combination of classes that I don't know. It just seems a bit weird to be like the first character that you have as DLC. Because the easy one would be to do like another tank or another attack champ.
But don't you find that more interesting?
Yeah.
That like the first thing they do is go
because I don't like sniping and I don't like support.
And she's a mum.
And I don't like mums.
You don't like mums? What?
60-year-old mums?
Yeah.
How can you hate your mum? She is one.
It's just, I don't know. Like, I do realize, like, part of my dislike towards her is that it's just not my personal style. But I think also the fact that any Annas I've played with have affected the win-lose ratio of my group. Not pointing out anyone in specifically, Joe.
Won 80% of games today with me playing Anna.
I'm kidding. I think
this.
I've seen one game where the Anna like successfully buffed a player who then took a control point. Not talking about you.
Yeah. No, I'm actually like the buffing thing is definitely something that needs to be worked on as a team.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If you're playing with strangers, if you're not able to go, I'm going to buff you now, you should go. Like, they could just turn around and run off with your ultimate. Just be like, see ya. I'm scared.
Yeah, like, it's definitely a group thing as well, because I had that. I was playing as Reaper, and I went in, used my ult, die, spun around, like, killed 2 of them, but I was getting hit, so then I ran around the corner, and then Anna hit me with the buff ult and made me really strong. It's like, I'm going to be in this corner for the next 5 minutes waiting for the health to respawn with just like these super guns. Yeah. It's like, you do kind of need that communication to like successfully.
Totally, Do you think people listen to this podcast who don't play Overwatch
hate
just
us?
They're switched off by now.
Every week.
Christ.
They need to play Overwatch.
It's a sign that they should definitely be playing Overwatch.
I don't disagree. Yeah. Sort it out.
Come on, play with us. Like that one guy pyro flamed. We really didn't have a good time.
Was that after Drunken Master as well? Yeah, that's why. Oh, it's terrible. That's the night I fell off my chair.
Broke it.
I broke it.
We found out that you actually broke your chair. It's
really?
It's broken.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, the bigger they are, harder they fall. I was waiting for any of you to finish that one.
Join in.
Like 3 blank faces.
It seemed like you were going to change that into a new idiom.
Yeah, I thought there was a spin on
you
it.
got to keep up.
I thought you had some.
You got to keep up with the ancient idioms.
I'm the tracer of podcast hosts. You think I'm going one way, but I reverse time and now I'm over here again. So you just got to keep up.
No, we thought you were going one way and you did.
Yeah.
You went exactly that way.
Unfortunately, you went exactly where we
We're
thought.
saying you didn't do that.
Sorry.
You're the Reinhardt. You're Reinhardt just charging in the inevitable direction.
I can't believe we've gone. I can't believe we're now applying Overwatch
We're just on
completely unconnected stuff.
Need another frame of reference.
It's fine. We don't have to talk about Overwatch anymore. We can move on because we did something else really cool this week. We got the opportunity to go visit Thorpe Park.
We did.
I'd never been to Thorpe Park before, which a lot of you
not?
couldn't believe. No,
I
never
didn't.
been, and now I can never go again because
we had too good a time.
we had too good a time.
Wow.
Oh, good for you.
Sorry,
Oh, good for you. Too good a time, if
we
anything.
3 went to Thorpe Park. You were on
But
holiday
why?
though.
But
so-
why? Do you want to just clarify why this?
Yeah, we
is?
went
rather
to-
than just
Day
day out for you.
That's it.
We went to go check out Derren Brown's new ride there, the Ghost Train. Now, the main reason we were brought out to check it out was because it's like one of the first rides that I've seen that really utilizes virtual reality. The Vive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Vive headsets, yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys think?
It's
of
crap.
the ride?
Yeah, I'm with Joe.
I
There
didn't wanna
seems to be the
first
general
one to-
consensus as someone who wasn't there but was following social media with a lot of people I know who attended.
Yeah.
It seemed like uniformly people did not like it that much.
Balls.
So, what is it?
Okay, so it's
Walk me through it.
Essentially, you queue up for a long time and you go through two
we were in a
what they
privileged
call.
event as well, so we didn't queue up half the time what most people
No.
would have to queue up.
It's- that's going to be a
What's it
long
take
old
like in
queue.
an actual
Right,
day?
what that was Dale calling you scum.
And himself
People
by
inferring that.
Just the
association.
general public.
We were.
Not elitists like ourselves.
This used to be a podcast of the people.
The people.
the
I'm
Vox-
like the people. I had a meal deal for lunch. And then bought additional meat.
Which you put a steak into. So Rory's lunch was he bought a steak and he bought a Sainsbury sandwich which he opened up and put a steak into it, like the true decadent he is.
Yeah.
He's like hedonism bot.
ordered it in from Gaucho.
While Alicia and Dale fed him grapes.
Yeah. I drizzled chocolate syrup on my chest.
Oh my god.
Oh, you revealed a lot about yourself then, didn't
Bloody
you?
hell. Anyway, so you queue up for a long time on Derren Brown's Ghost Train, where you're assaulted by loads of posters about fracking. Like it's all about how
I forgot about
fracking's
that.
bad, which is a
Yeah.
weird
So there's
theme.
subtext to this ride is about it's
Yeah,
anti-fracking.
absolutely. No, there is. It is
there is.
genuinely an anti-fracking ride. You're not meant.
It's just a documentary in Vive.
Now, we did tacitly agree with the hologram of Derren Brown that introduces you to the ride not to break the secret. And it would actually kind of be not cool of us to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel
There
there's
will
some
be-
things we can say there.
yeah, what we can say is that if you've used virtual reality before for a game, you've almost certainly played something that looks way, way better.
Absolutely.
That,
without
like,
doubt.
I don't understand who made the thing. And
Interns.
I can't tell. So the one thing that's very interesting,
Photoshop.
the one thing that's very interesting about it is you all sit in the same, like essentially in a couple of rows in the same area. And again, I don't want to give away
it's
too
a
much
train.
about it.
We
what
can
it
say
is.
it's a train.
It's a train, but the way
the
that
ghosts.
works is a
Right.
surprise and is
Of course,
probably the
yeah.
best thing about
Yeah.
it. But you all sit in the same space on this train, and where you put on your headset affects your viewpoint. So it is like you go into an isolated version of the same carriage you're
Right,
in,
yeah.
which is really cool. So I can't tell if it's all working off of one single like simulation or whatever, and that's why it looks crap, because it would have to render so much more.
I didn't get that impression.
Well,
at
I
all.
can't tell, but basically it looks really bad.
Yes.
And it's a massive disappointment because the initial thing of putting it on and seeing everyone in the room disappear is amazing.
Yeah.
And then when stuff starts happening, you're like, this looks bollocks. Like it takes you out completely.
I mean, it starts off quite promising, I
Yeah.
thought, because
Yeah, there's a cool-
not to try and spoil anything, but there's elements of like realism in there, so it's almost like a holographic. You're seeing like real video of real things, and those parts look okay, but it's when more animated
Shit kicks off.
starts to happen, where it just looks really nice.
Because it's kind of, and again, this is one of the cool things they do, is that it's kind of broken up into different parts. So part of it is in virtual reality, and then the events that happen in virtuality, you're taken out of it, and then you're kind of, it becomes a live action, and you're
There's
rushed
like a performance element.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you rush through the events that have just happened. But the only problem is, like this ride that starts off with this mystery and a lot of like the fear and the scares and like the jumps in virtual reality, then in its second half just becomes just kind of a video of like how cool virtual reality is.
It's a real shame.
There's no scare in it anymore.
So it seems like the execution lets it down really badly. Like,
Yeah.
like the Haunted Mansion in Disney is been around for
I talked
like
about that,
decades
yeah.
and decades, but it still holds up, even though that uses a
looks
lot
great.
of magic principles. It's like tilted glass, it's Pepper's ghost, and it looks like the ghosts are behind you, but it's really simple technology, and it's great, and it's still great, and that's why that ride has never closed.
And it's more effective.
yeah.
This thing is completely missold as well, though. Like attaching Derren Brown to it feels like
That
an
is very
insult.
odd.
Well, because I thought it was
He's done
going to be
several
like
of these rides
magic
before,
and
hasn't he, with
trippy
them?
and
Has he?
really
Yeah, he's done
crazy.
like 2 or 3 rides, I think.
Well, you know,
before.
Derren Brown's whole gimmick, and even beforehand, when you meet Derren Brown's hologram, he's talked to you as if you're conducting some experiment,
Yeah.
and it's going to be
He
one
also
part of his
he
shtick.
kind of presents it in hindsight. It doesn't seem like he knows what the ride is. It's like he wrote this script
Yeah,
and then they were like,
years
all right, let's
ago.
make a ride.
Yeah.
He doesn't mention
There was no
anything.
connection to
Yeah.
Derren Brown whatsoever
So
on the
strange.
actual experience. It can just be anything, really. You could just call it any sort of Vive Ghost Train, call it that.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what it is.
Absolutely.
It's quite a strange little thing, and I'm really glad we've tried it.
Yeah.
But I don't see how it's like their big
think-
thing.
Why is this not coming out at Halloween or something?
Yeah. I think it's a
Weird
good
time to launch it.
It's a good idea for the future, and maybe in like 5 years' time, I'm sure someone is going to take that idea and really develop it into something great.
As the headsets get like lighter and
Well, mine
better
was-
and,
well,
as
all
long
that
as
good
they
stuff.
get the people who didn't make that 90s TV program reboot to
yeah.
make all the animations
One
for
of my
it.
headsets was the calibration was off.
Well, that's
so it was like I was
yeah.
sitting on the
But
floor
also-
of the train.
Yeah, there are
And it-
glitches.
Yeah.
Also, the thing I was thinking about, because we've got one in, they're quite temperamental things.
Yep.
But also, I don't really fancy, we've got one in our like kitchen now that's used by our entire office. So what's that, 50, 60 people? And
Yes.
it's like,
I know what you're saying.
is there like a hygiene thing?
No.
where-
So these particular headsets
it's
are
getting
like
really
coated
sweaty.
in like a weird
Oh,
sort of
okay.
rubbery
They're like
thing. So I think they're
plastic,
kind of wiped down.
Because it's like in summer, if that's been used like 100 times
Well,
and it's
think,
like
like,
absorb people's sweat.
The
Yeah.
I don't wanna put
turnarounds
that
for
on.
this press night was so fast, like let alone open to the public. And I still went the second time we had to put on the headsets. I was like, I swear, this is sweat around the side of it. But because you're in it, they're like, put the headsets on, put the headsets
Whoa.
on. And I'm trying to put
Chill
it on.
out, Derren.
And like as I put on this sweaty headset,
You know what
and
though?
it-
I do want to put it on. He has got powers.
it
You
like-
don't put it on and it just slides on anyway. Like, oh god!
Think of the space.
Well, it was too big and it dropped like to my nose. I could see it over the top. I don't know what,
You weren't like your
what
dad's
elephant
clothes.
was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Joseph Merrick was wearing it beforehand.
Who's wearing this?
There was one bit where mine glitched out for about 5 seconds where instead of tracking where my head was, it was just moving the world where I looked. And I genuinely thought for a
weird.
second, like...
You've gone
Because
mad.
beforehand... Beforehand, Derren's hologram says like, you may question your own perception of things. And I thought this was like... purposely like, I'm in charge of the train, as I'm moving it around with my skull, and then it fixed, and I was like, oh shit, it's all gone wrong.
Do you remember that bit where, I'll try not to spoil it, but there's a bit where nothing happens for about 20 seconds, and I could hear everyone around me going, I think mine's broken. Mine's definitely broken.
Oh, it was longer. It was like a minute. It was like a full minute.
It's
The
really
screen
long.
could have glitched. It looked like it kind of glitched.
I imagine,
but it was actually
to be
part
one of
of
the
it.
people who operate that ride because imagine it. Oh, we're going to have to reboot it. Right, and everyone's seeing like the Windows menu.
And there's so many of them as well. Oh yeah, no, I'm in this weird like green and hill on a
Fine,
sunny
fine.
day.
So I'm in DOS mode. What do I do?
Big paperclip comes up. Ah, Christ.
You may question your own reality of paperclip.
We're setting up a new printing device. Good.
So I think overall, I don't know. Should we give this an out of 10?
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10?
I'd say, yeah, something like 4 or 5. Thorpe Park was a lot better than the actual ride was. All the rest of the rides were
We did
awesome.
have
Thorpe
a
Park's
blast.
fantastic.
Thorpe Park. I've never been to Thorpe Park.
Oh, man.
it was
it was
awesome.
But you all loved it.
Well, the only big con was We got there like
Can't,
kind of
for a
rushed.
free
'cause it's-
event.
How did you get your powers?
We got let in after hours at Thorpe Park. Go on every ride within 5 minutes.
This was after my steak sandwich. Yeah.
The only real con was they only did Stella for free, and I'm really a Staropramen man.
There was nowhere to store my cape and gown. Well, no,
These cobbles are not game friendly.
now I realise
You were wearing a cape and a gown.
it was a cold night.
That's a weird combo. You're right, Rory. Yes.
You should have seen me on the loop-de-loops, though. I looked like a magician. It was beautiful. I do realize now, in hindsight, this does sound really bitchy, but the food they were serving was like.
Oh, you're not gonna complain about the free
I'm not going to
food.
complain about the free food.
food was
I'm not,
fine.
no, the food was delicious. I'm not complaining about the food. I'm saying I ate so much of it in a very short amount of
okay,
time.
yeah.
I had like 6 little pots of chili right before riding a roller coaster, which was really bad.
How's this a con?
Ruined your gown.
Yeah,
You
That
said it was
the
a con.
Thanks a
Oh,
lot,
sorry.
Thorpe Park.
Thanks for making me eat this food.
Your own greed.
You've
Your gluttony.
Once again, has been my
indulged my
downfall.
sheer avarice. you monsters.
Oh, I'm gonna have another cup of chili. Do you ride the Nemesis?
By the
Yes.
end, he's just got just mints coming down his face, screaming at waiters. Just, no!
Dabbing with my cape. getting it all off.
Just the stench of cumin wafting.
Getting my servants to clean my face.
Paprika nightmare walking around.
Place the vibe upon Rory.
Like a crown, like a king, just place it on.
I shall have the carriage to myself, thank you.
But it was funny as well because I hadn't been to Thorpe Park, I had only seen it through the lens of the In-Betweeners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which obviously puts a pretty hilarious impression like in your mind. I thought I was going to see like car doors in the car park and like people running around in suits getting stung by bees, but not quite.
Yeah.
No,
No, not quite.
it's quite a professional place.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Television
Almost
lied
a
to you,
business. Television lied to me, not for the first time. So next on our running order,
Let's see
is-
how Rory can complain about this one.
I have kind of complained about everything so far, haven't I?
You can't
She's
complain.
crap. She's actually really good. Yeah, alright, whatever.
You can't complain about this next one.
I can't complain about the next
No.
one because I had a freaking blast.
It's so good.
So to celebrate the digital release of 10 Cloverfield.
Blu-ray and DVD home entertainment release of 10 Cloverfield Lane this week.
Yeah, well, what he said. There's a company to tie in with the movie and the release that's organized kind of an escape room.
Yeah.
So I don't know if all of our listeners know exactly what that is, but essentially it is a room where you're placed inside of and you have to escape.
Right.
You can always see where you were going
Can we
there.
just wait? Did you want us to finish that one?
No, that was it. That was its own sentence.
If people are still with us, yes. So it was an escape room created by a company that specialised in doing these all year round.
Yeah. It showed.
Yeah, and
good.
we can spoil this because it's only on for a week, and by the time the podcast goes up, I think it might be done.
Okay.
So they recreated the bunker house. Has everyone seen 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yes.
Well, I haven't, but
We're not
you
going
were
to
there, so it's fine.
We're not going to spoil the film, but they basically recreated the bunker that is in
You
the
see it in
film.
the trailers.
did it actually look like the bunker?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, I would have got much more of a kick
I
out of
wanted
it.
to ask a series of questions about it, but they would spoil the film, so I'm not going to do it.
It's very like it's not
Well,
an
the movie's
exact
been out for a bit.
recreation, but it's very stylistically the same. Like it has the same sort of rooms. They're not in the same sort of layout, but it has
John
all-
Goodman wasn't there.
It has some of
That's
the best
bullshit.
elements from the film as well, like that about. Well, I can't spoil the film.
Did you have to find a medallion that implicated someone in a horrific event?
No, we did not.
Well,
So-
So it wasn't.
inauthentic.
So it was
Shut it down.
four of us went in. Rory, myself, Dale, and Alicia. And the first room we went into was kind of like the bedroom, like where he
where
keeps
she-
her.
she wakes up
She
at
wakes
the
up
start.
after
Oh, yeah.
the car accident, and we were just locked in that room.
Yeah.
And it began.
So how do they... Like, I've never been to one of these. Does someone lead you in and say, all right, I'm going to lock you in now?
So we went in
So that you
with
don't freak
a
out.
person who is from, I think, Escape Rooms.co.uk, which is the company that make these things all year round. And she was with us. And for a while, I didn't know whether she was a plant
Well,
I didn't know whether she was going to kick off at some point, so I was kind of looking at her. I was ready to push her over.
Dan's got like a wrench in his back.
No, I was always keeping one eye on her. I was like,
because her kind of backstory was that she was like a hitchhiker that we picked up.
Yeah,
because she was in an accident. So then I thought that she was just there to kind of like watch us and make sure we didn't do anything to like wreck the place. But then sometimes she would be like, "Oh, my head's."
Did she do that?
Yeah, she would like,
that's
weird.
and I'd be like,
Dan,
it's happening.
Yeah, before we went, before she went in, she was
You
like,
haven't watched the film, but you wouldn't know what's
I
happening.
forgot she said that before we went in. It was like, "Oh, you guys were all driving along, and I'm a hitchhiker. You picked me up. Let's go in."
And I'm a hitchhiker. I'm the hitchhiker.
That's why I was keeping an eye on it. I was like,
oh man, I was just focused in the game at that point. As soon as I walked through the door, I was like, where is everything? Where do I go?
The air purification box.
Right, so went in, and in the can't go through all the little puzzles and stuff, but there was like a locker, and there were some magazines on the bed, 2 T-shirts that said Paris on them. So suddenly everything is important.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking through these magazines, and I'm like, right, I need to take this magazine with me, because in this issue of Vogue, there's a little sachet of moisturizer. If we need a lubricant, I know where that is.
Oh man,
Does anyone know the longitude of Paris?
Thinking about it way too deeply.
Way too deeply.
But there was like an air vent, and there was crutches, and Alicia worked out that we could put the crutch through the air vent.
there was a bag inside the air vent.
We got the bag from there.
And then there was
like one of my favorite parts about it was when it got to, I think it was like around below, because you had 45 minutes essentially before he returned to the bunker, and you were kind of
Oh yeah, we need
the
to
whole
had that
event, you
window.
had 45 minutes.
That window. So
That's
when it
actually
kind
quite
of
scary.
dropped below the 30-minute time, there was music playing. And as soon as it hit
Kicked
below,
in,
like
didn't it?
the music was like picking up and
Tension,
getting
yeah.
really intense. And we made it into the kitchen. I remember at one point I found the clue on the back of like some puzzle pieces, and I just like swept the table, and I was like, I need to make the puzzle. And I like looked round, and I think like Alicia is like searching everything in the kitchen. I turn around, and Dan's just holding a skeleton arm, like dripped in acid with a rubber glove, and it's just it's sheer chaos. Like people just wrecking this room.
I think when the people who design these things obviously like writers, you have an ideal reader in mind, someone who's going to follow all the clues that you're laying out in a certain order. And I'm sure they would go, oh, we'd like them to go to here and then discover this and discover this. I think we went in and just fucking went mental, like trash,
crazy.
like always trashing it, like you were turning over stuff, you were like raiding the DVDs, and then I turned around, you were like unboxing the game of life. And I was like, is this necessary at this point? And you're like,
Shut up, Cooper, and get me the moisturizer.
I need to lubricate the spinning wheel.
Me and Alicia as well. We like spent all this time making the puzzle, and then we realized the clue was on the bottom of the puzzle. Like the numbers were written on the back.
Right.
The jigsaw puzzle. So I was like, damn. So we like put it over together and tried to like flip it like a pancake, and the whole thing just went flying everywhere. Oh my god! And it's like the music's playing, and Dan's running around with a skeleton arm, and like it was just.
What was the skeleton arm for?
Had a key
attached
so
to it.
in a vat of acid, I found a skeleton arm with.
I was going to ask if there was a vat of
with a little
acid.
key on it.
That's good.
And I was trying to open this locker with the key while it was still attached to this small arm, but then we found some pliers, so we took the key off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There was also my favourite part was there was a little hidden USB stick inside the back of a
Yeah.
drawer.
Oh, that was cool.
And then I was like, well, I've got a USB stick. Didn't know if it was part of the set or what. And then I saw there was a radio. It was like it was a radio, I suppose, that had a little USB port in. You plug that in, and then it plays like a voice message, but like someone else had left.
badass.
And that had a code on for another lock
for
and
a
stuff.
lock.
Sounds
on
really
it,
good.
Yeah, it was really good.
So much fun.
Like I wonder how much work goes into having to reset those rooms, because at one point, like when the panic sets in, I was like throwing magazines, like I flipped the whole couch, like we just ripped the place apart essentially.
She did say we went in with a lot more force than most people did.
You've broken it.
She goes, you guys didn't stop.
Again,
We're
it's that
Team
thing-
Tornado, deal with it.
in that situation, like all information is suddenly important information. I was going to a box of Frosties, and I thought I found something. It was actually just the free toy in the front.
No way.
I was
Where do
like,
we put this? What does it mean?
but then also,
Imagine if it was like a tiny John Goodman.
I actually never told you on the day, because like again, creating false patterns. It was like a thing, and because it was like euros. Inside it said France. I was like, France, Paris. I was like, I was like, what is it?
Making
got
these ridiculous connections.
Yeah.
That's
It's
brilliant.
like when we went into the first room and you found that code written on the other side of a clock, like a 4-digit code, and I was like, remember this, everyone remember this, and I was like made a mental note of it, and then at the end when we got out, I was like, wait, what was with the code on
We
the
were trying
clock
on
at the
every
start?
padlock.
And she was like, what? And it's like the code on the clock at the start. And she's like, I think that was on it when we bought it.
It's just a sticker.
It's just a sticker. It's like his product
Just
number.
some weird escape the room car
Yeah.
boot sale. All these uncoded objects just get shoved.
Yeah.
Kid's arm, Frosty's toys. It's all part of the escape room card.
But I would
boot sale.
definitely do an escape room again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What franchises would you like to see represented in the
that's a
escape
great
room?
Alien.
Alien would be. Oh, imagine in
Saw.
the Nostromo.
Imagine if you made it really
Saw would be
scary.
good,
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, you're next to a laboratory. If you had proper production value,
Yeah.
if you could have a glass window through which you could see the laboratory where, like, the eggs are hatching or something, and you've got X amount of time before facehuggers are coming in, that'd be awesome.
What about the room where the really thin, circular room where they've got the computer, like Mother?
Oh, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it Mother or Father? In it?
Mother.
It's Mother, yeah.
And they just, and you, maybe it comes up like with a DOS thing where you've got to like choose your own adventure.
That'd
you
be
gotta solve
brilliant.
it.
Now all I can think of is sci-fi ones. Event Horizon.
Event Horizon.
Rooting around in Jason
That'd be
Isaac's
good.
guts.
I would like.
It's decadent.
I would like an Indiana Jones one. So it's like a temple, and there's like clues you have to solve, and like
Cool,
maybe
yeah.
like
Basically,
booby
like
traps and stuff.
at the
That'd be
end where you have to do the walk of faith.
cool. Oh yeah.
And
Or just
You
like
chose wisely.
or like the desert bit in the Crystal Maze.
Yeah.
Either or.
what I mentioned earlier as well, the Saw would be a good one as well because that is basically that.
Yeah.
The film
Yeah.
is that anyway.
Just escape rooms.
Just have to cut someone's leg off.
so the
must have
company
been
that
done.
did this, they do escape rooms.
All year round. This.
We should totally go and do
Yeah.
one of these.
Like,
Let's
I
do an
think they're-
IGN
I
UK
think-
podcast escape room.
Well, didn't they have
Let's
like
do
an
one every week.
Egyptian themed one or something? I looked at the flyer.
Oh, see, that would be great. Yeah, that would be
sounds
really cool.
Should we look into just doing another one? Then?
Yeah,
Let's do
yeah,
it.
totally.
I want to do it now.
My brother-in-law and sister did one in LA, and it's like similar, but they scale in difficulty, so you can have ones that are like almost impossible that maybe only like a handful of
People who do
have
cryptic crosswords.
Yeah.
just like insane. It'd be funny if one of them was just brute strength, like it's just bars, and if you can't bend them, you don't get out.
Yeah.
So you have to have like a team.
Is that your
you have to have like a
dream
strong
one?
person, a smart person.
Are we back to Overwatch?
We're back to Overwatch. One who can throw grenades and heal people. One-
We need a mum.
so basically, escape rooms are great if you
Yeah,
get a chance. To
and
do one, you
also 10
absolutely should.
Cloverfield Lane's really good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dying
alright.
to check it
Except
out.
for the end.
Yeah.
Oh, mixed bag.
More cool things that have happened this week at San Diego Comic-Con. We got a whole bunch of trailers released.
Loads of stuff.
We got Wonder Woman, we got Justice League, Doctor Strange, and the trailer for Skull Island.
You missed off the
Yeah.
best one. Legion.
Oh, there's Legion as
Oh, I
well.
haven't seen
I don't think I've seen
Oh,
Legion.
it's well
I also
good.
missed out Lego Batman. So
That's a really
It's
good
also
trailer.
good.
I haven't seen that yet.
So
Apparently it's
basically,
very
there was
funny.
lots of trailers, but we're going to focus on just a few of them.
okay. Oh, I'm so disappointed there wasn't a Power Rangers trailer.
I've never been doing like I've never worked for a place that covers entertainment as heavily as we do, so I can't tell whether this year was just really good for trailers or I was paying more attention than
Warner
usual.
Brothers. So Warner Brothers, I think maybe because they got stung last year with the leaked Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah.
This year they just put up everything simultaneously, nearly, with their press conference at
Yeah.
Comic Con, which I think was really good. So that's where the Wonder Woman, Justice League, Lego Batman, all that.
Suicide
things-
Squad was really good.
Suicide Squad. I
Yeah.
don't know who Skull Island. That might be legendary. But all these trailers went live where previously a lot of them were just in the room.
Yeah.
Which is great for the people who made the effort, and I completely understand why. That's why the Marvel panel still has that kind of. Nobody's seen the Spider-Man footage that hasn't leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I think maybe we're a bit more aware of it this year, and it's like, loads of awesome stuff because we got it immediately.
That Suicide Squad trailer is like 4 minutes long.
I
It's
kind of
nuts.
stopped watching them now because it's so close to it coming out. Because
know.
they've
Yeah,
released all
definitely,
released all the character featurettes as well.
Oh yeah, I've not watched any of them.
Like that on top of all the press or the set photos that came out, and that was ages ago. Like I feel like the coverage on that movie's been extensive. I feel
I
like
guess
I've seen
that's
half.
because they're like, we need to communicate what the hell this is. To
Yeah,
Yeah.
not only that, but they seem to. I don't know whether it's true or not, but they seem to have pivoted in how they're presenting it
Yeah,
to people as
it's
well. Like
comedic.
it's more fun.
lot,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But let's talk about the ones you actually wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonder Woman.
Good.
People seem to really, 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 really like it.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't know it was released.
It's so good.
It's
Is
a
it?
brilliant
And I was
trailer.
not interested in Wonder Woman up to this point.
It's a
I think
brilliant trailer.
The trailer is incredible.
I'm getting
yeah.
some like Captain America First Avenger
Yeah.
vibes
Yeah,
from it. Some like
because of-
World War
and also
action.
Thor.
She has a
at
massive
certain
shield.
points.
Also, she has a shield in it, which
She's
means
got
there's
a
a lot of
shield.
shield work.
She's got a shield.
No, but so visually, I think it looks really impressive. Like the
And the
fight
action
sequences.
looks spectacular.
So
Yeah.
there's a scene, Joe, you've not seen it. There's a scene on a beach where loads of female warriors take on Nazis.
I don't know.
I assume they are.
Sounds
It looks
wicked.
incredible. That scene with the woman who's like the archer and she jumps backwards through the air.
Yeah.
There's loads of very impressive
Even
action in
like
the trailer.
even her with the lamest superhero weapon of all time, her lasso of truth looks incredibly.
Yeah, 'cause it's like burning.
It's like this
It's
glowing
glowing.
fire whip. Like it's so cool.
Because the
Cool.
choreography is cool because she's
if
got
you, like-
loads of weapons and she's like switching between them on the move.
Do you think she'll like
Video games.
be
Yeah.
like backflipping in slow motion, like whip some guy in a really epic style, and he'll be like, "I wet my bed till I was 9," and then he'll like get like flipped around. It's like,
What about her most impractical weapon, which was sword in her back when she's wearing a dress?
yeah, it was a bit
Yeah.
weird. Is that not just going to take the
Quite
dress
nice.
That
off?
looks so
Oh, yeah.
uncomfortable. She was wearing like an evening gown dress or something. She had a huge sword down the back of it. How does that work?
Sounds kind of cool.
John McClane did it first.
I think
It's like duct tape to the back. Yeah.
Imagine if that. Imagine,
now I have a whip of truth.
imagine if that Die Hard scene. It was a sword, not a gun.
And then it cuts to the wide shot. He's miles away.
Instead of shooting him, it's just
Too early.
yeah.
Balls.
I think it looks great.
I like
I'm
the bit
so
where
on
she's like
board.
sliding on the floor with her shield.
Yeah, there's a lot of sliding going on in that
using
trailer.
a sledge.
She's like a Beyblade.
What did you
spinning
think
around
about the gags?
I like the last one about the secretary.
I've
was
noticed that there was a lot of gags forced into these trailers, especially. Like
I think the
Wow.
Justice
the two
League one
pieces, yeah.
more.
Interesting.
Well, we're
Yeah.
moving on to.
I think
I've
the
made
one in
notes on that one as well.
I thought the one in the Wonder Woman was good at the end, and I like.
I like Chris Pine's. Well, that was neat when she says about Zeus being
Yeah.
her dad. That was kind of cute.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not sure about the one at the end.
Did you see that thing where someone, like the director, I think, came out and said, like, "Don't worry, we're not emasculating Chris Pine." And it's like,
What?
anyone next to Wonder Woman should be emasculated. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
is
I don't-
she's like just better than everyone else.
She's better than everyone. She's the best fighter
She's a
in the
wonderful
DC
woman.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really strange. Like, imagine them doing that for a woman.
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
I feel like that's just being safe and like
against MRAs.
Yeah, like on all the like the flack that Ghostbusters has got, like the director just like feels obliged to come out and make
Well,
that
that's just
statement,
nonsense,
which is
isn't it?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice League.
Yeah, talking about some jokes that didn't land.
Yep.
Justice League. I really did not like this trailer. To me, it felt like just
Not a
clips
trailer?
from a movie.
It's,
just
well, one, I think this is an
smushed
excellent point.
together.
It's so early for a trailer. Like, just like they had those, had that set visit really early on and allowed journalists to run the set visit way earlier than you ever let people run set visits. They're putting out, this is almost something special they cut for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But again,
damage
to
control is
yeah,
what it is.
It was basically to, like realign the tracks early on.
It felt more like a montage sequence of Batman recruiting as
Yeah.
opposed to an actual trailer.
Well,
And everything felt like it went on too long.
I don't have a problem with the like recruitment montage sequence thing because I actually I don't know that much about Justice League.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
I know
And
all those
again, like,
characters.
most
but
people don't,
I'm
like-
quite happy to see all those people come together. It's just the fact that it was like so tonally all over the place.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
I saw you tweeting about Icky Thump.
Yeah.
Like
Doesn't
as a
fit
soundtrack
at all.
When it first came on, I was like, "Oh, this is cool as shit." I see what the tone is going for.
Yeah.
And then having that playing whilst Ezra Miller's making bad jokes as the Flash, and you're like,
didn't
"This
work.
doesn't make sense
Well,
at all."
that's part of it is because like if you've ever like edited a trailer before or just watched a lot of trailers, you know that there's a beat and a rhythm to it, and this one would like build to a point and then just play a same bit of the song over again
I think this
over
is-
like another 15 seconds of dialogue.
this is where
It was
I think they
so
wanted to
jarring.
show people footage, and they probably don't have finished scenes.
That's
and they've
a very
created
good
this
point,
in between thing, like this like tone piece or like
Yeah.
a character showcase.
It's not a tone piece.
Yeah.
Because what is the tone of that?
Well, that is the problem. Like they don't know what the tone is anymore, and also it's probably like character introductions for some of them. But again, even within that, sorry, I nearly knocked my
So
coffee over.
excited. Even within that.
Is there a code on
Does
it?
anyone know anything more about Cyborg apart from what the hell is that?
Oh yeah,
no.
he looks mad.
No,
I think it looks bad. The
Yeah.
design on that, the design of that character when he's in the sewer at the end with Batman, it looks so weird to me.
Yeah.
Also, do you know about the actor who plays him?
No.
Ray Fisher.
Oh,
he's
you
this
talked
actor.
about him before.
So after all the criticism of Batman v Superman, he got like really snippy with people on Twitter, especially journalists who didn't like Batman v Superman. But what's really funny is he's tried to launch his own hashtag on everything he posts, and the hashtag is #BorgLife. So everything he posts
really
on Twitter, on Instagram,
BorgLife.
and he also has a thing that he does with his hands that makes it look like a B and an L, and it's like #BorgLife. It's not catching on.
No.
This
What has he done
podcast
before
just got a
Justice
title.
League?
Very little.
I was
going
going to say, like, who is he?
Borg Life. Borg
So,
Life?
is it like...
It just sounds like the
This
Beetleborgs.
is
Yeah.
not very good for audio.
No.
It's-
Terrible.
We're all trying to do the Borg Life.
That looks easy to
I'll try
do.
and find a picture of it.
Borg
But, like,
Life.
he's trying to bring in the Borg Life.
What
But
does everyone think about the Flash? Sorry to interrupt you.
no. That was done.
I think it is terrible. I thought.
I did think it not funny in the slightest.
No,
And
some
maybe
of-
that's the writing,
Well,
because
look,
the gags were awful.
I know this is like a terrible comparison, but what you've got in this trailer is essentially Batman being the Tony Stark going around recruiting people. And I think Barry Allen is trying to be pitched as like the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a young kind of like
the-
awkward, but like there's no chemistry. It's
wrote
like a
down the
spark
worst
and a
joke.
puddle like together.
His worst joke was the bit where he says, "What are you doing sitting in my second favourite chair?"
Oh,
What does that even mean?
What is that?
Exactly.
What is it,
Is he-
Sheldon?
That's not a joke.
Is he known
That's
for
a very
so
good-
weird. It's so
is he
weird.
known for having a favourite chair? Like, and what's that trading off?
It's just,
Well, it's good you weren't in my time chair, but also that one's comfy.
Also,
so
it's just
Also-
deliberately trying to be kooky, isn't it? Just
Also,
trying to
I think
be
it's
that
really
off-the-wall
weird that he
character.
throws the batarang at him, and then when he moves, he goes, "So you're fast." It's like, did you not know that when you threw it at my face?
You could have killed him.
What if his power was he's just really smart?
I bet.
You killed him.
I bet
You've killed the brains
I
of the
bet
opera.
that's like the fifth cave he's been
it's just
in.
lodged in his big head.
Yeah.
That's like the fifth cave he's been in. He's killed 5 other people, and he's like, got him this time. It's the right
And
one.
then he comes back to Wonder Woman. He's like, "Did you get all 10 members?" I've got 3. I've got 3 of them.
4 of them weren't fast. Only one was
Bruce,
actually.
we talked about you killing people.
Yeah.
Also, did he not know who he was? Was I misremembering Batman vs Superman? Didn't he have a vision with the Flash?
Yeah.
Was it the Flash?
Yeah, it was. But
Yeah,
maybe he
it's-
doesn't know who that was.
It just
he
seems
looks a
like
bit.
when they've got such a well cast. I know they can't have the same guy, but the Flash, the Barry Allen in the CW's Flash, is like really good, and that's the vision of that character that everyone now has. I'm sad. I just can't
believe they're ruining my favorite character.
That's the nerd in the Simpsons.
Yeah, but guys, anyway, so the thing about it is but like everything from the way he acts to the effects they use are now in people's heads, and they're replacing all of them. It just seems mad to me. Like it's just
Well, they've
such a
had
strange
the
decision.
new like visual effects around him moving quickly are those like blue
It's like blue lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Which
Again,
doesn't
like
seem right.
I don't think the joke's that funny. I don't necessarily mind him being like the awkward member of the team as such, but like
No, but he has to be good at it.
Moving on to the another character who is quite problematic in general, Aquaman. So Aquaman has his reputation of being kind of this comedy character, and
A little
you know,
bitch.
he's been relaunched several times in the comic. They're trying to make him harder and stuff. In this, he's like the rock
Gone
star.
so far, yeah.
Like he smashes basically shorthand in any movie for if you're a bit of a renegade. He drinks an entire bottle of Jack Daniels and smashes it.
And then lets the waves consume him.
Also,
Oh, that one's so Zack Snyder, that shot of him facing the waves. Just like, oh, come on, man, stop with your like dumb big visual metaphors.
another barely a joke at the end as well. I hear you talk
he
to
can talk
fishes.
to fish.
That's not a joke.
And then I thought,
just said some words.
I thought I
Yeah.
was waiting for him to like the second beat
Retort.
where he
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
back. and it just,
Also,
that
is
was
there
it.
not a thing where, again,
thumbs,
not being, excuse me, but like when Batman goes to, is it like a Russian village, and he's like, "I've come here because I've heard a legend about a man who brings you fish in winter so you can eat." Why is he killing fish? I thought he'd be quite anti that. Is he not supposed to like care more about the underwater kingdom than a bunch of people in Russia?
Do you know what would be really funny is if Batman just comes up to him, throws a batarang at him, and it just bounces off his head.
He's dead.
It's not the fast one.
No, it just bounces off his head, but then he just goes. And loads of fish fly in and attack Batman.
Master Wayne, this is why you have no friends.
Also,
Finds Thomas and Martha Wayne dead with batarangs in their head.
is Aquaman just getting pissed and going to like talking shit to the fish? Like,
I love that he's getting pissed and he's like staggering on land.
Yeah.
Whoa, where am I?
He's just like, you fuckers can't stand out here.
Just like going to the sharks. Think you're tough? Fight me on land. Fight me on land.
Where are you now? Gonna feed you to a Russian peasant.
There's a bit when he's walking, so he has a swig out of a bottle. Is that Jack Daniels?
It looks like it's
I thought it was
whiskey.
just a bottle of water first. I thought he was having a
What it
top.
looks
Yeah, he can't survive on the land. He's got to keep drinking.
Yeah, he's not drinking, he's just pouring it around in his mouth and nose.
I do think it's funny that it's like you've taken a character who's well known for like. There's literally memes and jokes about how useless Aquaman is. You just try to turn him into the most badass character, like
drunk as well.
Yeah, it's so weird. But I mean, it could be fun.
It's not going to work. I'll make a
know.
bold statement there and say it's not going to work.
The girls are loving it. All the girls I went to,
All of them, uniformly.
all the girls I went
them.
to university with. Like,
Done some
Well,
research.
it's
All
good,
of the girls.
But be specific then.
this is me at the board meeting. How'd the trailer go down? Girls are loving
It's
it.
tracking well with women.
Girls
Who?
are-
Two women I went to university with both thought it was okay. Both liked it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Both really
Loved
into
it.
Next trailer on the list, Doctor Strange.
Oh, so good.
Looked visually amazing.
So I really wasn't on board with the first
You
Doctor
weren't.
Strange.
You were like,
I didn't really get the appeal. Granted, I don't really know a lot about the character, but the trailer didn't do a lot for me. This one, however, I'm much more on board. My only worry and fear at the minute is, as you said, like visually, it looks absolutely
looks incredible, yeah.
I really hope that there is a justified reason for all of these incredible moments happening, because it's very like Inception, but obviously that makes sense because it's dreams collapsing and things are going strange. I don't know.
make
It's
sense?
like
He's a reality shaping sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
it's
think,
like-
I think the thing is like, in the Avengers, the world is threatened.
Yeah.
In this, reality is threatened.
Okay.
And he's going to be like, he's the savior of reality. That's like the space he operates in the comics. So whilst like Daredevil's going to help you because someone's like threatening to like kill your wife, Spider-Man will save a city. This guy will save reality itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's the kind of the thing they're dealing with, and I think that's like what's going to legitimize a lot of that stuff. And also, I reckon there's going to be stuff that goes beyond even like the city's falling. There'll be monsters in this
Yeah.
when he's training. Like
think
the
that's it.
Lego
As long-
set
as long
they've
as
shown
he's-
has tentacles in it.
as long as these really impressive moments are justified and like can be comprehended within the plot of the movie, that's fine. But I don't want it like someone like throws a spell and that the effect of that spell like twists the world in a weird. And it's like, well, I want a reason behind all this, not just because you can do it.
I like when they're
It's-
casting, they have like these like weird kind of
like
symbols around
alchemy.
the
It's like
yeah, it's
alchemy
not
magic,
like
yeah.
casting spells that you've seen in a way before. It's quite like Warcraft actually, where they're like drawing runes and stuff. It's a kind of a different way of depicting magic.
Yeah, definitely.
If we're talking about gags,
Oh God, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
do you like it or don't you like it?
I don't like it.
I think it was fantastic.
Really?
I love
No.
that
The
gag.
Wi-Fi one,
The Wi-Fi
yeah,
joke.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
just
I really
felt
like
so
those.
out of place, and it
Well,
just.
it was designed as like a post.
But what is it? This obsession with just sticking a big gag as your final point on
Well,
the end
leaves
of
like
a
a
big
good taste in
action
everyone's mouth.
superhero film.
A little mint. That's what it is.
Not if the gag fails miserably. And
like-
I
Comes with the bill.
They're like, oh, it's crazy. All
I
this
just
stuff's
don't
going
know.
on.
It just
Little
didn't.
joke
It
about
didn't
Wi-Fi.
register with me at
Sorry.
all. I just thought, oh, that was weird.
I just felt like when you've got a trailer that's just one thing,
Crazy stuff.
it's just like whoa, there's like a city turning itself into a ball. That was amazing. Like having
brings
that
it
one
back
little
onto Wi-Fi.
moment of just like, oh, here's something human, by the way. I thought that punctured it nicely for me. I thought it
You
was
can
quite good.
see you can see the Avengers Tower getting sucked into that hole
Can
as
you?
well.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
cool.
toppling in. And also the cloak. I like the way he puts on a cloak. That's very good.
You talking about how you don't want to be the actually guy for Aquaman on Twitter coming out and saying, it's a cloak, not a cape.
The thing is though, I kind of did that a bit tongue in cheek, but it's
I
like
know,
some
I know.
people are like, I do that, but people are like, yeah, right on.
Yeah,
I'm like, I actually don't care that much, but
I knew it.
Cloak ebooks.
people were like, yes, favourite that.
That's the one I wore to Thorpe Park, actually. Yeah.
Excuse me. Got anywhere to
On the
keep my
Nemesis
clothes?
Inferno, just swiveling around.
What's everyone's opinion on the accent?
He just sounds like House.
Yeah, it's
I'm
one of
alright
those
with that.
things.
Still,
like,
still a little bit jarring for me. I'm still not sure.
it's that weird
how
thing.
good it is.
Yeah, it's weird. And like, almost he could have done his English. Like, he's an
Yeah.
American character. they've adapted a lot of characters. Like, I don't think anyone would have, like, obviously some people would have been up in arms that he was English, but I think a lot of
In the
people have
grand
just gone
scheme
with
of
it.
things, where the
mind.
ancient one has been whitewashed,
And
I
now
think
she's a
it's-
Celtic.
I think it's okay
Yeah.
if he changed accent.
Yeah,
but
and also it's kind of suit the character. Like,
we've
do
not
a really haughty Englishman.
Yeah.
we've not heard him
it's
in
true.
extended conversation.
Yeah,
yet,
No,
though.
just odd
Snippet,
lines.
yeah.
So
It's
that's
kinda
really
hard to tell.
it's
I
hard
think
to
I like the way it's shot. Some really nice shots.
It looked
And then,
beautiful,
Like,
the whole
I thought
thing
that the
looked
first
incredible.
trailer as
Yeah.
well. Like,
Well, that's
it was
it.
really
You've
impressive.
got an opportunity here to make a really interesting movie that ties in with the Marvel Universe that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily follow the tropes of the ones before it. And
I'm
I think
excited
that's
to
a
see it.
great opportunity.
And also, in a world of trailers where everything is given away to you, and it's like, here's an explanation for everything you're seeing. That, we were talking about this earlier, like, there's a bit where, like, there's the sort of shattered reality, and he sort of steps back through it. And it makes no attempt to go, here's what's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no voiceover saying, like, you step back through reality
Yeah.
and, I don't know,
I like when
something
he's-
happens to your brain. Like,
Also, when he goes through those three doors and they're three completely different locations,
Yeah.
and it's like, what's
Yeah,
that?
and you're
very Matrixy feeling. at that
everything
point.
about it is just going, here's like weird clues that will never make sense until you see the movie, and I'm so up for
I think
that.
Marvel have been afforded that luxury, haven't they, to
Yeah.
purposely be ambiguous with these sort of things because it's got the Marvel stamp of approval.
Yeah.
And like Justice League, where they're just like, shit, we need everyone on board. Let's just throw everything out there.
Yeah, we need everyone on board.
Can you imagine if they did the Doctor Strange trailer in the style of the XXX one?
Oh my god!
What?
Girls, reality, capes, guns. Yeah.
Cool ass clothes.
He's back. Just like Doctor Strange walking in slow motion with white stripes.
I was going to say Icky Thump turns on.
we want you to do some magical shit and look cool doing it. I've got it.
This sounds like a Facebook meme video you need to make, Rory.
skiing through the jungle. Benedict
2 mil on that.
Cumberbatch.
2 mil on that
2
one.
mil.
2 mil guaranteed.
Yeah.
The last trailer on our list is Skull Island. What do you guys think? I'm
Thought it looked really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't like one thing about it, and that is Samuel Jackson. Because I don't like Samuel Jackson.
You don't like Samuel
Oh.
Jackson?
It's just I can't.
When he
I can't.
like, it's phoning it in.
Yeah, I can't suspend disbelief when I hear his voice. It's Samuel Jackson to me. I can't pretend
Well,
it's
I
any
don't-
other character.
I think it doesn't help that in this movie he has like that big badass thing where he's like standing against
He's
the
basically
fire.
the
and
Hateful
it's
Eight
like-
again. It seemed
Yeah.
like he was doing the exact same spiel. It's like, you tell me all you need to know or I'll shoot you in the face.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's like-
I feel like I saw this guy 6 months ago.
Samuel, this isn't in the script. Like, I don't know what role you've prepped
needs to
for.
get
You're
these-
actually supposed to be playing a botanist.
Yeah.
We've
And,
actually,
like actually
You're the
examining
heroine.
wildlife. Yeah.
sorry, we dropped in the making of featurette. It's just
Apart from that, I thought it looked really good.
It looks like Apocalypse Now. Like with like the helicopter
actually, yeah,
shot.
I didn't
Yeah,
think
with
about
the
that,
sunsets when he's just stood there from behind.
Oh, and you know they're obviously doing the thing where they're not revealing Kong in full force yet, and I think that's a really clever way to keep the intrigue up as well. So I'm excited.
do any of you have fond memories of King Kong in general? Because
No.
I couldn't
Yes.
care less
I don't
about
think,
that character.
I don't think
the-
many
the-
people do.
the theme park ride?
Okay.
The game was great. The
360
PlayStation game was great.
Yeah, the
Sweet
one where you could
1,000
get all the trophies.
That one, yeah, same as the Lost video game.
I actually, after seeing like the remake, like when was that released?
That would be like
Mid-2000s?
2000s, yeah, 2004.
I
3.
didn't even know this was possible. I spoiled the ending for my aunt, and it's like, how do
I
you
think
not know?
I feel like
like
come on.
everyone
What,
even
the ending
knows
from the
story.
1920s?
Yes, I
Was
spoiled it.
earlier
Well,
than
the
that?
same because it's the same in the new one. And you
Yeah,
said.
well, now I'm really
No,
careful
well,
about
that is
I'm
not a
fine with
spoiler.
saying
You
it.
could spoil
I
a
literally-
1920s film.
She was
Did you
talking
spoil
to me
the bit when
about
they
it,
go
and I
ice
was
skating?
like, the movie was great, and we were all really sad at the end when he dies. And she was like, oh, what? And I was like, do you not like? Everyone knows the image of like King Kong
Yeah.
batting planes off
Yeah.
like the skyscraper. It's like I didn't think you could.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Auntie Powers didn't know.
Auntie Powers did not. Had it ruined
Unbelievable.
for her. She was like, spoiler alert.
Did you actually say that? That'd be amazing.
Absolutely not. No, I'm really excited about this movie. I think it's got a good cast and it has the potential to just be like a really good action movie, all things considered. Dan,
I'm gonna have to excuse myself
you done with the foursome?
because Andrew Goldfarb's gonna ring me, so he's effectively ruined this podcast.
Get him involved.
If
Disgusting.
people want
Sure,
to
we
just
could've
tweet
put him on
him,
speakerphone.
if people want to tweet him and say, "Oh, you really messed up that episode of IGN UK podcast," I'm not going to stop you.
Just start the call in here.
Is he
Yes.
calling you now?
He will be. Like, my laptop's probably going off.
Get some classic
okay.
gotcha radio.
Watch out, Krupa's about.
So everyone tweeted Goldfarb and tell him he ruined the IGN UK foursome.
Such a
He'll
chasm
know what
here.
it
I'm
means.
going to move in a
Before
bit.
we start, feedback. Did
Yeah.
either of you watch the Legion trailer? You
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Paint me a
Right.
picture, Joe.
It looks incredible. It is an X-Men TV series about the character who is traditionally, but we're not sure yet, is
feel
Charles Xavier's mentally damaged son in the comics.
Right. Oh, cool.
It is it's being made by the guy who created the latest series of Fargo, which is like some of the
That's
best
seal of
TV of
approval
recent years.
immediately.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this trailer it's not just like here's an introduction to the concepts that you're going to be shown. It is like it's a minute and a half, like basically like a formal experiment into showing you what it's like to be schizophrenic. It's unbelievable. So it's like all these shots from an interview this guy's having, but then seemingly the thoughts he's having at the same time they're intruding on his interview.
What?
There's a bit where he's just like, please, can we take a break? And the trailer breaks for like a very short dance sequence. It's amazing.
This sounds great.
It's one of the,
Yeah.
like, hands down, one of the best trailers I've seen for years. And now I'm super excited about what that means for the TV show.
Damn,
So is
I'm
it
really
Marvel
upset we didn't
produced?
stick this.
then?
Pardon?
Marvel produced.
Yeah. It's,
So they've got the rights to do the TV show.
yeah, so that's why it's a bit confusing about the X-Men thing, because maybe if they don't have the rights to show Xavier, they won't make him Xavier's son in this.
Right,
He could
okay.
be someone else's. But anyway, like, it looks fantastic.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, it's just an amazing trailer, and I think it got, buried a bit under the rest of the news. So
Yeah.
seek it out.
I will.
I'll definitely check that one out.
It's cool as hell.
Sounds great. Okay, moving on to feedback. Now that Dan's gone, we're gonna have to like redistribute.
I've
this.
already done it. I've sorted it out. Don't
It's
worry.
all over it.
All right, who wants to lead us off?
Number 1. Headed the Neon Demon and dating plans. Dear podcast team.
Already a
Oh,
terrible
I've
combo.
just realised. Don't worry, no, I'll edit it.
I thought you'd highlighted that
I'll
as
bleep
opposed
his
to
name
crossed it out.
I'll bleep his name out in post.
Oh shit, we were not supposed to say the name?
It says in the first line.
Dear podcast team, please don't use my real name.
I'll bleep it out. Don't
Just
worry.
call me the Neon Idiot. Call me the podcast idiot.
I even said it back as well. I was like, oh, I said it again. Sorry.
Stop saying. Oh, God damn it.
Wilson! Long bleep.
Shambles.
Do we cut this out?
No,
No,
keep
go
going.
ahead,
It's all
carry
good.
on.
It's all
Bleeps,
gold.
bleeps, bleeps. I nearly said his name again.
Don't try and censor the
The Neon
foursome.
Idiot said, I recently had a first date with a female.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's a strange way of saying that.
I once dated one of your human
Just going to say,
females.
before we start this, it's about a date going wrong. I think if you referred to her as a female on the date, that's your first problem.
I just assume he is like a robot, right?
Yeah. And like an idiot, I booked tickets to see the Neon Demon. I was very unaware of what many things would happen during this film, not least necrophilia and vampiric tendencies from models. This is Nicholas Winding Refn's new film, and he's gross.
Wait, model vampires? Like a really attractive vampires?
Seemingly.
Or they're just like really
It's
great?
about-
They're like model
Aren't
vampires.
all vampires attractive?
No.
In modern. No, I suppose not.
You played The Witcher, mate?
Nosferatu was not an attractive man.
He was
Well, it
not.
depends what your taste is.
Yeah, maybe you like guys, long men on TikTok.
Yeah, they look like top men models. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. I was wondering if there were any suggestions for future date films or other media-based ideas. It does sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Other media-based ideas. Or should I play it safe and just book a table at a restaurant? Bed regards, Neon Idiot.
Things are heating up already.
What's going on?
Should I book a restaurant and consume some of your human nutrients?
I mean, not to bust in on this, but surely a more interesting comment is, have you ever been to a really bad date film? I took an ex to watch Control, the Joy Division film, which is a black and white study into depression and suicide.
Whose decision was that, Jake?
That was mine. I really wanted to see Ian Curtis's life played out.
I went on a date once to watch Return of the King, and she hadn't seen The Lord of the Rings.
That's really bad.
And that was... I didn't care. I just wanted to see the film.
Here's a 2.5 hour film you won't understand.
She
from
was
base
very
principles.
pleasant. She was very pleasant about it. Split up a few days later.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
That's a true story, by the way. I'm not
Really?
making it up.
was that anything to do with the
unbelievable.
movie, or just that was an unrelated?
It's no, I can't say it out loud because it's too horrible.
Oh wow!
I'll tell you off podcast.
A ring wraith ate her.
I've been on the opposite side of this, whereas I had a girlfriend who was obsessed with the Twilight films. So I had to go watch like every single Twilight movie on like opening day. She was very pretty, so I absolutely had to on like opening day, and that was horrible for me. Yeah, terrible.
Oh, I fell asleep during Maleficent once as well. That was because that was a shit film.
Not on a date, just tired.
Third and final date.
So I'm trying to think like if there's any really good date movies.
What's a really good date movie? Wait, future date film. So that's got to be something that's coming up.
Something coming up?
Unless you go to like cool. What if you? That's the problem is. If you want to present yourself as like cool, you go to like an indie cinema with the sofas and the bars and stuff.
Well, it depends what she's like though.
But then most art films are just if you're going to the Neon Demon,
that's true.
Like, but then most art films do have moments where you're just like
cultured fella or girl,
a cultured female.
I don't think so. It has to be a date. Maybe it can just be something that you both really enjoy. And something I've recently enjoyed with my girlfriend is Stranger Things.
Oh yes.
Now that doesn't sound like a date TV show. Yeah,
we can talk about it.
That doesn't sound like a date show, but me and my girlfriend, there's only certain shows we'll watch together, but that was totally one of them.
But it's funny and it's scary, but it's never like harrowing.
But it's
which
also
is a perfect date
like
stuff.
My girlfriend really loved it because there's a lot of I don't want to use this word, but cute characters as well.
Yeah.
Like characters that you find adorable and find really sweet as well.
That's it. Like it works for everyone. There's so many different groups of people having so many different experiences.
Yeah.
Even though it's about the same thing, like for example, like your girlfriend could really enjoy the kids, or maybe like the girl who's like struggling with popularity in high school, and then like I might really enjoy like the
Steve Harrington's hair.
Exactly.
Oh God, yeah. And it's different in the first few episodes,
the first episode, his hair's different.
Yeah, it's completely different.
It's not as 80s.
I was like, he's changed his style halfway through.
So that's a great show, and it's Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is like
well, that's the thing. If it's in this case, if it's a second date, are you going to suggest the classic Netflix and chill?
Netflix and chill with Stranger Things. Netflix and chill with a Demigorgon. Spoilers.
That is pretty full on. What other media-based ideas? Do an escape the room. That sounds like an excellent thing.
That is a fantastic idea.
You will bond.
Or will you break apart and then you're stuck in...
Well, if one of you's shit...
Because I feel like if you get enough into it...
If Neon Idiot is as much of a robot as he writes like, that guy's going to solve every code he's placed against.
Put a hole with his robot arm through the wall.
Don't you think that'd be really good for like breaking down the boundaries as well? Because once you get into it, you wouldn't be thinking about the date mentality anymore. You would just be having a good time.
It's a survival situation.
You find out what someone's really like.
That's half the problem of a date, isn't it? That you both go in like, I am on a date, and this is all I can do.
Yeah, totally.
Not exactly media, but bowling. I think bowling is a great idea. In the classic American style of dating.
Hot dogs and warm beer.
Hot dogs, warm beer, throwing some balls down some...
I'm throwing rocks tonight. Yeah, that'd be good.
Tons of great dating ideas. So I'm number 2.
We're the greatest lovers in the world. Thanks, bleep bleep.
I'm glad you said bleep then.
This is from Andrew, and I hope you can say his name. I didn't check that one. Andrew says he has to share this with us all. A scientific paper has been passed around for discussion between a couple of research groups where I work. I attach it here for both your amusement and scientific edification. Nailed it.
You need it.
The journal where the work is published may not be the most prestigious, but I'm sure you will all agree the research is super effective.
I like that he slipped in a little journal diss. Just be like, who is it?
P.S. Great work again on Prepare to Try series. It's truly fantastic. Thank you, Andrew.
I didn't highlight that bit, Rory.
I was going to say.
I highlighted it.
The Centre for... Well, no, this is it. This is the... You've got to actually read.
I meant moving on to the paper. I wasn't talking about...
Tell us about the paper.
So this is the... Oh, my gosh.
It's the Journal for Interdisciplinary Science Topics.
Which is the most offensively powerful starter Pokemon?
You're not selling it, mate.
It is a multiple-page study of which starter Pokemon in their final evolution is the best. But I don't know, so I haven't read through this properly yet.
No, I skimmed it, but...
So we've got
some serious mathematics.
It's very in-depth.
They're calculating like height and weight and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is technically wrong because there are small differences between all Pokemon. But there's the interesting thing is Why?
What's really funny as well is that
That's all I've got.
Well, yeah.
what's so weird is that I think they're basing all of this information off. I think it seems like stats and experiences and attacks from the anime, the TV show,
Right.
instead of the games where they have
Wow, if you
down to
look on-
point figures
Yeah.
of what the damage is.
If you look on the last page, I think you'll find there is a reference in.
Oh.
It tells you where they get all the information from.
Bibliography, very well.
There's actually more than I expected. There's artwork. There's the animated series.
It's for the listeners at home. I think it's Harvard-style bibliography.
I will also take this moment to formally apologize for getting Pokemon information wrong.
Oh, that
on my
was
last
God,
that
podcast.
really bugged me.
That really bugged me too. Because
Especially if you're supposed to be teaching me.
I know.
You taught me everything wrong.
I was listening back to it and just
The
I just
Magnetron.
cringing off my. I know, and I got Doug Duo confused with Do Duo. There's lots of stuff. It
There's
didn't
no
help.
such thing as Doug Duo.
Exactly, Joe. It didn't help that 24 hours prior to that, I had been in a field like listening to screaming children for the past week. But that's no excuse for Pokemon ignorance.
Sounds like your own version of Stranger
And
Things.
To atone for my mistakes, I will now rap all 150 Pokemon. Electro, Diglett. No, I'm not going to do that. One day, imagine. I will eventually, at one point. But it's not today.
So as a Pokemaster,
Yeah.
is that what they're called? Pokemon Master?
Pokemon Masters.
Pokemon
Or
Master.
trainers.
What do you think of this journal?
Well, we should read out the conclusion of the journal.
Oh, yeah.
It is only a 2-page study because it's about fake things. But it was discovered that Venusaur's solar beam had an energy output of 194,000 joules. Blastoise's hydro pump had an energy output of 386,000 joules, and Charizard had an output approximately 10 to the power 6 greater than them at 2.62 times 10 to the power 12 joules. This is calculated from the amount of energy required to produce each of the 3 iconic attacks. So they are concluding that Charizard is the most offensively powerful because of... well, they don't
Numbers.
actually say which move it is.
I assume it's Flamethrower.
I can see why the Journal of Interdisciplinary Science Topics is so not respected by our readers. This
Yeah.
academic podcast
So of
is
all of
unhappy.
that, Charizard wins.
Charizard wins.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what everyone believed
I
before.
know, pretty much.
Time well spent. Right, this is from Aidan. He said, hello, IGN UK podcast crew.
Hi, Aiden.
I noticed that very few people use the in-game public voice chat on Xbox Live these days. Normally when I'm in a game, I notice most players are without a microphone. It could be for obvious reasons. They either unplug their microphone to avoid all nonsense from other players, or else they go into a private party chat with their friends. But this makes them very unlikely to meet new people when playing online. Do you think any of this will change when Microsoft's upcoming Looking for Groups and Club features were announced at this year's E3?
Well, I mean, the obvious Occam's razor being what it is, yes, it's because everyone on the internet is an arsehole and it's
Yeah.
not fun playing with them. That said, so I've never wanted to play with other people. Like, I've never had a good time playing with talking to strangers
Yeah.
whilst playing games.
Yeah.
To this day, my brother has friends like across the world that he still plays games with because he shouted at them in like COD
wow.
Modern Warfare back in the day.
Yeah, well, I think it's like I actually really enjoyed that email because from someone who kind of got in really early to the Xbox 360 like online scene, for me and my friends, it was such a novelty that, as you said, we would join like games when we were playing COD 4. But this was before it got into the point where you would all be using party chat. So you would all just be talking in the game lobbies. And yeah, that was a huge part of it. We would meet people and then you'd maybe spend a whole night playing with like strangers just because they were pretty good at the game.
Yeah.
Especially with zombies in the first Black Ops Call of Duty game.
Oh, of
because
course. Well,
sometimes
you have
those
to-
games can go on for 6-7 hours if you're like
Blimey.
really dedicated, and you have to have that communication with the player because
Yeah.
you need to know when to not kill the last zombie so you can do a loop. And yeah, like I to this day still have like people on my friends list who I met when I was like 18 playing these games.
Yeah, my housemate plays Destiny raids with strangers. So I'll walk in and he'll just be like, ninja fish, please go to the left.
Oh, Ninja
light."
Fish. He's great.
that guy's great.
I used to
Level
recently
40
do it
hunter.
on the Division. I used to play with randomers all the time,
I
just
can't do
because it was easy that they were there and available at the time for me to play, as opposed to trying to organise something, which when you get older is just sometimes an impossible task. But like yourself, the early days of PSN, I remember Burnout Paradise. I used to just jump in random games with people, and for some reason, I think he's on something, because everyone did seem to be on headsets in them days.
Yep.
And I've still got people on my friends list who, I would have connected back then.
But again, like nowadays, if I'm playing by myself, I'll just like unplug the mic.
Absolutely,
if anyone talks, I'll like mute them if it's annoying. But it is strange, because especially like I remember really specifically with, I think it was Halo 3 when that came out. There was obviously when you were split into your two teams, it was like team chat. In the game it was team chat, but then when you would go back in your lobby and it would like reassign the teams, there was that short period of time where you could hear what the other team were saying. So after a game, it would just be, you'd just be like silence, back in, you piece of shit, Dragon Master, you son of a bitch, I got you with the guns. Just like chaos, and there's like split, and they'd be like, all right, so I'm gonna go for the rocket launcher this time, and maybe you guys can go for the warthogs.
Really good.
Like, it was insane. And I guess it is kind of a shame that like that social aspect is gone, but I think this is a great idea that Microsoft have had to make it a more social point, and hopefully it picks up again.
Well, that's it. I suppose, for the reason my housemate does Destiny raids with people is because, like, you're forced to play with people who are good enough to play with you. So if that group isn't just match made out of convenience, it's match made out of requirement, then everyone's going to want to try and work together, which is useful.
And Destiny's tough because, well, last time I was playing it, they don't have matchmaking for raids.
No. So you have to go through, online services that
I love raids. Those things are
stuff.
Incredible.
It's good stuff.
It's like some of the best gaming experience I've had in recent years. Just incredible.
First time you do Vault of Glass, it blows your mind.
There were points where it's like we will be working out like really intricately, everyone's doing their own things, and I'm like, this is too difficult, this can't be what they're making the players do, and then it would work and you do it and you're like, just the sensations, like it was just so exciting. I just felt like, because I never really got into the World of Warcraft scene, and you just used to hear stories of people staying up all night and doing like their raids, and it was raids in World of Warcraft, wasn't it? And I was just like, it sounds cool, but I don't think I could ever get into it. So Destiny's like my version of that, and I love it. I think it's so great. And again, that's a really social thing, and hopefully there's more of that brought into games in the near future.
Yes.
Cool. Is that all our pieces of feedback?
That is all the pieces of feedback.
Well, thank you very much then for joining us for the first and hopefully not last IGN foursome. We'll have to like Photoshop Dan in here for the.
It was four-way at the start of the show. Now it's foursome.
Yeah, you've gotten
branding is
sexier.
off.
Yeah, it's all over the place, mate.
Damn it. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.